Logos, studies. And what is the topic of this study but theos, the Greek word meaning God? Theology at its basis is the study of God. And yet that study, that word about God, is not simply something that is intellectual and abstract. For we can think about the ways that people live out theology, how it combines both thinking and a way of life. And so, as we think about theology and we consider the contribution of liberation theology, we need to think about it as a study, as a way that people combined both belief and practice, and finally to think about it as a blueprint, as a kind of map. A logos in the ancient world was a plan, not unlike what builders used to construct a building or a ship. And so a theology is also a plan, a map, by which all the themes within a particular religious conviction are organized and thought out. One of the important things we'll have to think about when we consider liberation theology is precisely the way that that big map of Christian theology gets rethought, gets questioned and adjusted in light of the insights concerning human liberation. We know that at one level, theology is a profoundly personal thing. One could point to a group and each individual would have their own sense, their own personal sense of what their theology is. And that is a profound thing. Yet at the same time, theologies are communal. These very individuals have been shaped, have been formed in communities, be they in a family, be they in a church. And as we think about religious traditions like Christianity, over many, many centuries, generation after generation, handing on theological insights. After all, that's what we mean when we use the word tradition. Tradition from the Latin traditio means to hand on. And so some of the powerful theological insights we have are handed on from previous generations. Theologies are like a language, which we inflect personally, and yet at the same time, we inherit a kind of grammar, a way of speaking about theological themes. In Christianity, we speak of the Trinity. We think of Jesus Christ, his incarnation. Many topics like these form a kind of grammar for the way Christians develop their theology. Liberation theology, too, will have its contribution in terms of this grammar as a way of thinking out theological topics. So each person, each theologian, takes part not just in a contemporary conversation about topics, but indeed jumps into a long, long history and a conversation with figures from the past, centuries ago, whose insights are still relevant today. Theologies are about ideas, and so as we explore theology, we do so often in the realm of philosophy and the many ideas there. And great theologians of the past, Augustine of Hippo, Thomas Aquinas, have drawn upon important philosophical schools of their own time. With liberation theology, we too will have to look at important philosophical influences on this theology. And yet, as we've noted, theologies aren't just about ideas, but they're about human experience. They are about action. And that's significant in two ways. For one, we can think ideas are not alone. We need to think about the practices that flow from important ideas and concepts. And yet, at the same time, we need to think about how those very practices, how the ways theologies have been lived out, also come back and shape